the first probably month I was on there, it was crazy. You know, in the Philippines, you got to watch out for scams because they need money, you know, and of course I immediately shut her down.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Inday Lorene here. So this is actually a continuation from my previous video, online dating experience. But of course, you already know how I ended up in an online dating app and my online dating experience. But if you haven't watched my previous video, guys, please check that out, right? So this time, this is Alan's dating experience and why he ended up in an online dating app. Yes, so actually he's really shy, but this time he's going to do it so that you will know his side of story. Okay, so before we're gonna start, I would just like to say thank you so much, guys, for your very nice comments in my previous video, and thank you for sharing your experience. And I'm so happy, I'm so glad that online dating worked for some of you guys, really, so congratulations. But for those who are still waiting, still looking, just be patient and be very cautious too, because not everyone has good intentions. Okay, so this is it, guys. I hope you enjoy this video.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to talk about my online dating experience other than the Filipino Cupid. After doing just some quick research, I found out that pretty much, like, if you're in the United States and you want to, you know, and you want to date or find a Filipino, the only way to go is Filipino Cupid. I mean, there's a couple other ones, but as far as like the format of it, and you know, not that I have anything to do with Filipino Cupid, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty much the only option. I mean, if you want to you know, find somebody, you know, normal, I guess.
Okay, why did you look for a Filipina?
Well, what triggered the whole thing was that where I work, I work with a lot of Filipinos. So, you know, I was hanging around with a lot of Filipinos and stuff like that, and they kept actually saying, you know, hey, you should go to the Philippines, you know, not necessarily to meet somebody, but I should go to the Philippines, you know, to go on vacation, to go to the beaches and to check out all the beautiful places like Palawan and stuff like that. So for like a year, I'd sort of mentally planned to make a trip to the Philippines for vacation. And then, you know, as I was thinking about it, I kind of thought it would be a really great idea to try to sort of maybe meet somebody from the Philippines when I got there. So that's what triggered the whole Filipino Cupid thing, was that, hey, cool, you know, if I could find somebody, even if it's not a dating thing, even if it's just like somebody that wants to hook up as a friend, just show me around or whatever. That was kind of my mentality when I went to Filipino Cupid at the beginning. And then, so I signed up for it, and it was quite the experience, let me tell you what. But the first probably month I was on there, it was crazy. So anyway, I set up the whole Filipino Cupid thing, and I started like messaging, you know, people and everything like that. And I sort of focused on the Cebu area, mostly because I knew I was gonna be flying into Cebu. So, and I knew I wanted to you know, kind of start my vacation from the Cebu area. So I kind of, you know, after doing some filtering, it took me a good solid 3 weeks of filtering people out.
Okay.
And getting rid of, you know, all of the, you know, the instant messages that I got. And man, it was kind of crazy, because when I first went up there, I didn't really have any filtering. So I was getting, you know, like dozens and dozens of messages like every hour, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to really filter everything out so that you go. But anyway, so I was real picky about the filtering on the website, so there wouldn't be so many people on there. And so I got real picky about what I wanted, you know, as far as every little thing. And every single time I did the search, it kept coming up probably about 10 different women, Filipinos. And then Lorene was always in those 10, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, you know, and everything else. So then, you know, it took a while, but I slowly but surely filtered it down to her. So then we started talking. How long we were on Filipino Cupid? Just not very long.
Like for a few days. Like
so anyway, yeah. So then
4 days, 3 days.
I think we both kind of like kind of like asked enough questions of each other to try to find out if we were like legitimate or not, you know.
Yeah.
We both kind of tried to catch each other in a lie, you know, or something like that, you know, for like the first couple of days to make sure that we weren't like a scam or whatever. So then finally I decided, yeah, she seems pretty normal, pretty legit, you know. So then I think our first thing off of Filipino Cupid was Facebook, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Was it?
Facebook.
Yeah. We decided to use Facebook Messenger, and we used Facebook Messenger, and then we hooked up on Facebook. And then once you're on Facebook, you know, obviously, it kind of opens up the book up, you know, so you can sort of get an idea of what's going on, and you know, you can kind of see what somebody's life is like, you know. So anyway, I think from that point forward, we pretty much talked to each other,
Like
not
almost every day.
almost every single day, until I went to go see her, what, about 3 or 4 months later?
Yeah. Almost.
Approximately. It was
Yeah,
kind of a
3
while.
months.
It was pretty long time. It was 3 to 4 months before I actually went to the Philippines. But keep in mind, we were talking to each other every single day. So slowly but surely, we got closer and closer online, and just continually showing each, you know, sending pictures to each other and videoing and stuff like that. So I was starting to feel like I got to know Lorene really pretty well before I even went to the Philippines. So anyway, I pretty much made a 2-week vacation for us. And at this point, I was still being cautious about, you know, this whole thing, because, you know, I'd never been to the Philippines before, and I wasn't exactly sure how things were gonna go. So I set it up so that we could like meet each other when I got to Cebu, and I would stay in Cebu for like 2 or 3 days. I think it was 3 days.
Yeah.
And get to know her and just see if things were clicking, you know, when I got there. I mean, I thought for sure we would probably click because we've been talking to each other for so much. And if not, even if we didn't click romantically, which I think pretty much we knew we were, but even if we didn't click romantically, I felt like, okay, well, you know, if we don't click, you know, romantically, at least we're friends. I mean, it wasn't like we weren't going to be friends, because we knew each other pretty well by now. And so I thought, okay, cool. Either way, we're either going to go on a romantic vacation or we're going to go on a friend vacation. You know, either way, you know, it's kind of the way I felt about it. Well, of course, when I got to Cebu, you know, it was pretty much love at first sight, right? Yeah. And then, yeah, so we hung out for like, you know, at first we tried to make it like, you know, all legit and go on dates, you know, for like the first 3 days, you know, and stuff like that. And then we're like, ah, screw it. So then we flew to Palawan, and we stayed at Palawan. It's a really nice resort in Palawan for like a week. And hey, it just goes on from there. Everything worked out really good. We had a great time. And yeah, it was kind of hard not to sort of start falling in love, dude, when you're like in Palawan and you're having a great time and everything is beautiful and perfect, you know what I mean, and everything else. So it was really great. So anyway, after the 2 weeks, obviously I had to come home, you know what I mean, and then immediately I started making arrangements to go back to the Philippines again. I don't think I ever went longer than 3 months without going back for at least a week. Yeah. So then I kept going back, and then it just got, you know, things just got better and better and better, right? As things went on. So one thing I do want to correct, that Lorene did say wrong on her last video. And if you didn't watch it, go back and watch it, right? So Lorene is talking about the different Filipinos and the different things she did online. And then at one point she said, well, you know, I'm your average looking Filipino on there and everything like that. I thought, no. So to me, she was the most beautiful looking girl in the world. You know what I mean? So then when she said that, I was like, whoa, no way. And you know what makes her beautiful? I'll tell you what makes her beautiful. What makes her beautiful is her heart. And what makes her beautiful is her mind. Okay? And what makes her more beautiful than anything else is that she loves me. Yeah.
Scam experience.
My scam experience? What do you mean?
Yeah, the first girl that you chatted with.
Oh yeah. No, there was like one lady. I hadn't gotten to Facebook. I was just doing it through Filipino Cupid, and you know, for even like the Filipinos on, you know, in the Philippines, you got to watch out for scams, because you know, right off the bat, you know, there was right off the bat one of the ones I narrowed it down to. We talked like normally in the conversation for, I don't know, quite a few times, and then sure enough, you know, all of a sudden somebody's sick in the family, you know, or something happening, an emergency in the Philippines, and they need money, you know, and of course I immediately shut her down. So you know, you got to be careful on both sides, you know what I mean? And that's part of the online dating. You know, it's just you got to just be super careful, and you know, just take your time. You know, it takes time to figure it out, because a really good scammer is going to be able to really scam you for a while. You know, before you realize, oh wow, you know, all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Just based on, in hindsight, looking back on all the stories I've heard, you know. But it really helped out that I've got a lot of friends at work that are Filipinos, and kind of knew, you know, I could immediately, you know, I would talk to them about it, and they know what's going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really helped that. But that's really what triggered it for me going to the Philippines.
Because of your
This whole thing started. This whole thing started that I wanted to go on vacation in the Philippines, and I really wanted to go to Palawan. And then eventually I wanted to go to Boracay and, you know, some of the other islands in Bohol and, you know, all that.
Yeah.
And by the way, right now my favorite place to go right now is Bohol. Bohol, I just love. It's such a chill, good place to go.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, so we're gonna go. Actually, we'll probably end up going back to the Philippines. What?
Next year.
Yeah, I'll probably go maybe March, April. We'll see. But we're gonna try to always go back to the Philippines at least twice a year. You know, to see family and stuff. So that's it. Boom. We're going actually into Target right now to do some shopping. And we were on our way here. We're trying to multitask.
That's
Anyway.
right. So thanks for watching.